day practice routine streaming. I'm going to just do a quick chat. I've got an upgrade on the camera, which is great. I have sound playing through an amp. You can maybe hear the vintage hum behind me there. That's going to get resolved, but hey, things are going in the right direction technically. Also, you may have noticed I've managed to figure out how to do stupid thumbnails, so everything's on the up. Anyway, we're gonna just quickly recap where we're at with our building our routine. So we're on day 5. Day 1, I think the message there was just to keep it simple. Day 2, use a timer so that you set a specific amount of time to work on a specific subject, item, lick, whatever, chord, sequence, whatever you're doing. Day 3, we added in some warm-up stuff, so get some warm-ups in first. I like to do that fairly regularly. It's not always an entire part of my routine. You can use anything as a warm-up, really. You can use, a chord sequence that you're working on, that's fine. Just some scales are great for warm-ups. It doesn't have to be specific warm-up exercises. Though at the moment I'm using a Pat Metheny one, which is great. So I'll stick to that for now. And that'll change when we get a few more days in. So we've got warm-ups. We added in some chords. I'm using some Joe Pass stuff, anything at all. So I think really keep it kind of generic to a certain extent. You've got, keep it simple, use a timer, use a metronome as well. Do some warm-ups, do some chord work, do some scales. Today we're going to introduce some arpeggios. So let's crack on. Here we go. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, I had to go in and adjust some stuff in my Audacity app that I use for practicing. So anyway, my Pat Metheny timer is running. I'm just going to keep an eye on the time on my clock because it's running in the background. I need to fix that kind of stuff for the purposes of this. But to be honest, having everything on my phone is great too. So I kind of got through the first 2 lines of this, and that's where I'm going to start off today. Oops. There we go, so there's the first 2 lines. I'm just going to do that a couple more times just to make sure I've got it. Then I'm going to start working on line 3. So this is progressing nicely over the last 5 days. It's sounding good. It's a weird one to warm up with because most people think of just doing simple stuff, and this is fairly complex. But it's Pat Metheny's personal warm-up exercises that he's written, and it covers a lot of territory. There's arpeggios, there's scales, there's scale, broken thirds, all that kind of stuff. So it's a really good one. It covers a lot of territory. Let's do it again. Cool. And also picking, covers a lot of picking, which I messed up the picking there. So it's Sunday morning still, just about. So coffee, I've got Peter Rabbit, maybe, cup. Nice espresso. I've got, this one's black actually. Okay. So that bit there, 2nd fret note on the 2nd string, and then we're jumping down to play the 4th fret and the 5th fret on the D string. So there's a string skip, and that's beat 1 on the 2nd fret. So I'm probably doing a downstroke. I guess alternate picking. Oops. Keep it clean. Economy picking under that string, and again, in and again. So I use economy picking a lot, but obviously having a really good alternate picking technique is critical. So, you know, you need to work on that. Okay, let's see what the start of the third line is. Okay, so kind of chromatic, or at least there's a lot of accidentals in there. Least of all my. Okay, I see what it's doing. Okay, with. Right. So that's the first couple of bars. Let's just work on those again. Okay, good. And a couple more times, and I'll try and integrate it a little bit. Okay, let's have a go at putting that together. Oops. Cool, so that's pretty much getting there. I think that's probably my 5 minutes up. I'm not using the metronome today because it's complicated with all the stuff going on, all in one phone sort of thing. So anyway, let me dive into my app and switch on to the next thing, which is going to be our modern rock method thing from Martin Miller. So that's my 5 minutes of warm-ups. Let's move on to the next thing. See you in a second. Cool, am I back? Not really sure. Oh, there we go, something's happening. Okay, so I think we're back. So the next section is the Martin Miller rock guitar soloing. So we did some chords to start off with, and now it's on to just kind of learning that lick, which is going really slowly because it's really fast and complicated. There's a lot of string skips and there's a lot of sliding notes and just stuff that is technically quite challenging. So I'm going through this very, very slowly. And really, I think, have I got as far as beat 2? I mean, it's, you know, slow going with this kind of stuff, but always worth just sitting and working at it. So first thing, of course, is just... So, okay, start on the right set of strings. Yeah, so that's the first 2 beats. So that's an upstroke. And then that's an upstroke. No, it isn't. I'm talking rubbish. These are all, that's a downstroke. So I've managed to somehow reverse my picking on this. Right, so let's start with an upstroke on the right fret. Oh, that's weird as an upstroke now. Okay, so I kind of messed up the picking while I was practicing this over the last couple of days. Got my upstrokes and downstrokes reversed. That's okay, it's good to find out now rather than like in a month's time, but then who knows, maybe I'll be able to play it totally ripping backwards. The fact is, if you're using some kind of like organized method to pick something, anything you do is going to benefit you. The damage is done with picking when you just don't think about it, when you're not doing anything, when you're just kind of trying to play, you know, just obviously the obvious reference is students who are just starting out mainly play everything with a downstroke, which as we know is not, you know, it's not efficient. you know, everyone always talks about, oh, James Hetfield from Metallica does it. He plays everything with the downstroke. Yes, he does, but his alternate picking is superb, and that's why he can play everything with a downstroke. So, you know, organize your picking. Anyway, back to practicing. So, right, upstroke again, right. That's fine. And then another upstroke, okay. And another upstroke, that works. Okay. Yeah, it's all economy picking, isn't it, really? He's just trying to do this sort of sweep thing across the strings as much as possible. That's right. I'm gonna have to slow this down. I'm just like trying to get the picking now. Oops. So that's obviously, I'm really pronouncing the picking, and I do that when I practice picking to sort of see for myself how I'm actually picking, if you see what I mean. To start off with, obviously doing big motions isn't efficient at all, but I had an experience when I'd been playing for many years actually, and one of my teachers was like, oh, your picking's dreadful, and he made me start again, and I had to literally slow all these scales down and play them really slowly and accent every sort of like picking direction change so that I could see myself doing it, if you see what I mean. So that was it wasn't a horrible experience, but you know, when you have to go back and kind of relearn stuff that you've already learned the right way, well, I guess it's benefited me, but probably would have been easier just to learn it right in the first place. So, okay, here we are. Let's do this again. Lot of upstrokes. That's a downstroke. That's cool. I like that lick. It's all rhythmically. It's just like 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E. So it's just kind of 16ths. Cool. Where are we at? I'm going to do this one more time, and I think that's probably time on this. So let's see. Kind of messed up the rhythm at the end, but okay, that's getting better. Good that I noticed my picking error there and rectified it. So cool, give me a second. I'm going to dive into the next thing, which is our Joe Pass chords, and we'll do that. So let me do my timer thing in the background. Are we back? There we go, we're back on. Okay, so I'm getting better at this. See, that's what happens when you do it every single day. So Joe Pass chords, we were looking at major forms, and we got through the first couple, which was basically that shape, so major 9. Can make it so you can see my hands. That work better? Oh, you can see my amp over there. A vintage Hot Rod Deluxe thing. Had it for ever. Long time, 10 years plus at least, if not 15. Sounds great, really good. Okay, moving on. So we did that shape, and then we could add the sharp 4 in the F sharp. So from C, 1, 2, 3, 4 is there's your 4. So if you sharp that and we add it there, we're kind of going it's Lydian, right? But so kind of not a modal chord. That's the wrong description, because I'm thinking of it as like, okay, C major diatonic, you know, is home, if you like, and then if you add sharps like a, you know, F sharp to it, then that's not in the key, so you're kind of going modal, adding a flavor, whatever. I mean, I think of that as like, well, it's a sharp 4, so it's kind of outlining Lydian, which is great. So a nice chord to know. And you experiment with that in different things. Now this next shape, E, B, D, G, he's suggesting is a major form, and for me personally, I've always thought of this as a minor 7 chord. But of course, you have to understand that any chord is anything depending on what note you decide you're going to use as your root. So if we use this as a C root, we've got C, E. Well, we don't have a C in there. Can we put a C in there somehow just to demonstrate? Sort of. There we go. Kind of going Ted Green and playing 2 frets. Yeah, and I guess with that C in the bass, that does sound really nice and major. So that's a cool sounding chord. Quite getting that C, I don't think it's kind of hard. Right, can we stretch out and get it a different way whilst retaining the integrity? So we need an E, so we can play E there and C there. Okay, whoa, okay. Geez, no, I can't do that. Holdsworth can, but I can't. Anyway, the point of this is that we're sort of analyzing what's going on. But let's look at the notes. So we've got an E, which is the 3 of C. So if you think of C as the root, then that's already establishing a major sound. We've got B, which we know is our 7, major 7. We've got a D note, which we know is our 9. So it's already that major 9 kind of sound. And then we've got a G, which is 5. So yeah, you can think of this as just I think a straight major 9 chord with no root. So far those top 3 chords that we worked on are just really different variations, different flavors of the same thing, of a major 9 chord. So and you can hear those similarities. The only time it gets a little scalloped guitar neck. You know, going Lydian maybe, is that Lydian? Yeah. Okay, cool. So I think that's chords done. I gotta watch my time. I gotta go pick up Jack from basketball. Major chord forms. Cool. We'll go with that. I think that's me happy. So we're moving on to scales. I started on some harmonic minor stuff yesterday and then got interrupted by a phone call. It's unlikely to happen today. But let's do some scale patterns. I'm just going to again dive into Modacity and change my setting over. 1 second. Cool. Okay, we're back. Good. So Harmonic Minor. I was looking through this book. This is Don Latarsky, who now let me get this right. Bill Walker, I think. Got a lesson from him. He's based out of Santa Cruz. He's on YouTube. Bill Walker guitar. Check it out. Great looper. As well, just an awesome guitar player all around. Fantastic. A lot of the stuff on his YouTube channel is just really mellow, ambient, looping stuff that he's just so good at. He's been playing a long time. He taught me as a teenager. And I got a lesson from him recently over lockdown, and he actually told me about Don Latarsky, who publishes all sorts of stuff. In fact, both of the next 2 books I'm using are Don Latarsky books, which are great. So anyway, Don Latarsky, I was going through and I noticed that he's written out like Harmonic Minor number 6, number 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, etc. So he's written these out as actual just modes of the harmonic minor, which is cool. So it's really, you know, just like when you're doing a modal thing with a major scale, just starting on the next note and playing from there and thinking of the next note as your root. So if you play a C major scale, you start on C and finish on C when you're practicing. And then if you take the same scale but start it on the next note, which is D, it will outline a D minor scale. In fact, D Dorian, which is very desirable when playing over minor 7 chords and things. Anyway, harmonic minor also works in the same context as D Dorian, or any Dorian. But let's do this. Oops, what am I doing? Let's do it in A. So I'm just finding, I guess, different ways to play the same thing. Maybe laying it out with slightly, there's 2 notes, which works nicely there, but you can also so that works too. Just a different way of you know, working on it. Now I work on both. Is one better than the other? No, learn them both. And then you have, that's when people talk about, oh, how does that guy solo across the whole neck? You know, just effortlessly. And I'm not talking about me personally, though I can do that to a certain extent. But, you know, the really great guys, the guys that are just awesome, you know, how do they do that? Well, it's because they learn their scales one way and then learn the same scale with, you know, changing a note from one string to another, and it puts in a different part of the neck, but is suddenly leads you in a different direction on the guitar in terms of, you know, where you can go next with your melody, which is the key. If you know how to connect all your scales, then, you know, it's happening, man. It's happening. Cool. Anyway, so this is as written. What am I doing? Yeah, okay. So what I was sort of fussing over there was my fingering, which how my, you know, what fingers am I using here to play that descending. So I like to, with that, I'm sliding, because then that puts me in the perfect position. And then there's 2 notes on the next string, and the best way I think for me to tackle it, third finger, 2nd finger, which then just keeps me in position to go. And then I have to move. Oops. Put on the notes. All right, so I'm gonna keep working on that. Hey, what a like, nice one. I think that's the first time ever I've had a like on a live stream. See, it's so tempting, isn't it, to play second and first, because it kind of feels more natural. But then you're out of position for the next string, which is, oh, I got 2 likes. Yes. So if I use 3rd finger, 2nd finger, pinky, perfect position. 2nd finger, perfect position. 1st finger, perfect position. And then I've got 2 notes on the next string. So pinky, 2nd, then you have to move over, pinky. That's kind of cool, isn't it? So switching sort of between harmonic minor and Dorian. Interesting. Hey Mark, how you doing? Or Ed Gear, I should say. Good to see you, dude. Early time for you. Where are you, Texas? It's like, what, 6 in the morning? Anyway, so let me move on. That's kind of harmonic minor. I need to practice that a little bit more and work on different variations of, you know, where I'm putting certain notes and things. Atlanta, okay. So, yeah, that's still cool. My dad's moved to North Carolina, which, when you look on a map, is nowhere near Atlanta, but according to you guys, you'll drive like 1,600 miles and not even think about it. So it's like right next door, right? But Atlanta, cool. Home of Coca-Cola, isn't it? Okay, I've got to pick up Jack very soon. So, 5 hours, okay. So I've got one more thing, and then I'm going to wrap it up. So Arpeggios, Don Latarski. I'm not going to bother with the timer and stuff like that. Oh, no, I am. Okay, give me a second, I'll be back. Cool, there we go. That's it, we're back. Okay, cool, I'm literally running this down to the wire with picking up my son. Hope my wife isn't watching. I'm going to use the Don Latarski stuff to just do some basic arpeggio things, but I'm going to actually, in this lesson, for the next 5 minutes, I'm going to talk about what I actually do. This is a great book, and it's worth going through, but again, in lockdown, I took lessons from a guy called Hristo Vichev, who's based out of the Bay Area in California, and a great jazz player. And he showed me a way to practice arpeggios, which I think has benefited me greatly. And I'm going to demonstrate this with major 7 arpeggios. So he really said, okay, get to grips with one shape, which is that one. And just practice it till you can do it, you know. Fairly smoothly, and kind of, you know, it's comfortable and all that kind of thing. And then he kind of showed me ways to just take that and learn it from different fingers, which really opened up the neck. And now I apply this to chords and scales and everything. So what he then said is, okay, that was played off my 2nd finger, the root. So starting there. Now, if you then move your 1st finger up and start playing there, so now you can't just naturally reach to the major 3rd here. You have to find it somewhere else, so we'll just stretch for it. And then this completely changes the shape of the arpeggio, which is cool. Oops, let me learn it. See how that works? So it's the same thing. And now I'm starting to play the same arpeggio in different places on the neck and connecting them. So that's the next step with this, right? Is to sort of and come back down. Isn't that cool? So, and that's the key right there. That's the secret. So if you're watching this live stream, you've just been told how to learn how to like open up the neck. There it is. Think of the same arpeggio off a different finger, and then the next example is like, instead of playing 2nd finger or 1st finger, now do tremolo. Now do it from your pinky, right? So. Okay. There's got to be a better way to do this. I'll figure it out. I used to practice this particular stuff all the time a couple of years ago, but and I use it in a practical sense, but yeah, I need to get back on it. There we go. See, so I finished on my third finger there, in fact. But now, obviously that one's a little tighter, he says, messing it up. And then, too fast, trying to show off. Yikes. And then, you know, obviously you want to get all those down as much as possible, so a little bit of time just playing around within each one. Oops. Went totally, that was wrong, but sounded cool. Anyway, I'm going to have to wrap it up because I'm going to go pick up Jack. So it's been great. Thanks for tuning in. I think it's been a really good one today. I feel a bit more solid in my playing. It's going the right direction. It's just proof that if you do something every single day and work on it and expand it, you're going to get better at whatever you do. But in this case, guitar. Awesome. Have a good Sunday. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now. How's this? Oh yeah, every time.